Right, in today's video, another phrase that we hear a lot is playing in an unconscious level with a free mind. When we've all had our best day on the golf course, regardless of our handicap, without realising it, you were in that state of mind because your confidence is high, everything's flowing, there's very few negative thoughts. But trying to get into that state of mind all the time is key, but it's not easy to do. What sort of measures or things that you can try to get into that state of mind would you sort of advise?
I think the first thing, and one of the most important things, I think a lot of psychology paints this idea that we can control our thoughts.
Yeah.
Which, you know, if anybody listening, if you know the next thing that you're going to think, well, let me know and you tell me how you do that, you know.
So I'm delighted to say that the Scratch at 50 Psychology channel has partnered with Caddie. Caddie is an app that gives you access to one of the world's leading golf psychology coaches who's worked with 6 major champions and hundreds of PGA Tour, DP World Tour players from all over the world. Watch this video to the end where you can get a special offer to get access to Caddie today.
That, you know. This thing sat between my ears comes up with the most ridiculous, nonsensical stuff most of the time.
Yeah.
So our brain is always going to keep generating thoughts.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between being aware of your thoughts and believing your thoughts.
Right.
So that's a big thing. So, you know, when people say, well, how do I stop thinking that I'm going to top it off the tee? Well, you won't. You'll still think that you're going to top it off the tee.
Yeah.
I had a great story. One of the players I worked with for 20 odd years, Graham McDowell, he told a story about, it was the first real big tournament he had the chance to win. It was a Scottish Open going back 15 years or so. And he told the story that he was coming up, they told me the story, that he was coming up 15. Sorry, he was coming up, he played the 14th and he was walking to the 15th tee.
Okay.
He's played great golf for three and a half days. He's got, I think, a 3-shot lead. He said as he was walking to the 15th tee, a thought popped into his head, you're going to top it off this tee.
Oh my God.
Now, we watch TV and we don't
You just don't think the pros,
we think they're in this Buddha-like state.
Yeah.
He said, I had this thought, I'm going to top it off the tee. He said, I got some reaction in my body. I started shaking a little bit. He then said, but I got on the tee and he looked and he was kind enough to say all that work that we'd done. He said, I got on there and he went like this, as though he was holding a rope. He said, the routine that I had was like a rope to hold on to.
Right.
So there was this chaos going on in his brain.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between having thoughts and deliberate thinking.
Right, okay. Because it's to say just have positive thoughts is ludicrous, isn't it?
And the problem is with trying to think positive is, right, it's going to go down the fairway, it's going to go down the fairway, it's going to go down the fairway. Oh shit, it didn't.
Yeah.
Where'd you go then?
Yeah.
We put too much emphasis on thoughts. Thoughts come and go.
Yeah, you're not going to stop them.
You're genuinely not going to stop them.
No.
And it's actually when you stop trying to stop them that they reduce.
Yeah.
This idea that I shouldn't think this or I shouldn't think that is nonsense. But what you can do then is a quiet mind, I think, comes from curiosity and interest.
Right.
So that when you get on the tee, you know, we talked about it in one of the other videos, you know, could you put your attention in one place like rhythm and stay with that all the way through the swing and notice your rhythm? Is it faster? Is it slower?
Okay.
Is it high? So what interest and curiosity do is you calm your mind down.
Yes.
I alluded to it earlier on that some players focus on the club head.
Yeah.
You know, can you, it sounds the easiest thing in the world, can you stand there, make a swing and keep your attention on that club head all the way through the swing?
Yeah.
Sounds easy, but it isn't. But it's a great place to place your attention.
Yeah.
I have a little routine that I do with some players, and it started as a result of something that happened to me in China a few years ago when I was teaching some young Chinese players. And obviously language was a bit of a, you know, a language barrier wasn't easy. And what we did one afternoon is I got a Sharpie and I got them to put a dot on the golf club.
Yeah, I'll just show that.
Yeah, so we've got a dot on the club.
Yeah,
just about make sure it's going through the second, third groove, something like that. And then what we said to them is, imagine that there's a dot on the ball.
Yes.
Right. And you're going to place your attention on the dot on the club and make a swing and see if you can join the dots.
Okay.
So mentally now they're thinking, okay, the task is there's a dot on the ball, there's a dot on the club.
Yeah.
And do you know what, Craig? I can still close my eyes and I can hear the sound of some of those young kids as they smash these balls into the distance, because all of a sudden now they're focused on one thing.
Yes.
The mind's quiet.
Yeah.
They're interested in something.
Yeah.
You know, join the dots. It sounds ultra simple, but my God, you can get so much that you can work on with that.
Yeah.
Even in terms of your ball flight.
Yes.
You know, if you're hitting shots to the right, guess what? The dot's arriving too late.
Yeah.
If it's going left, the dot's arriving too early.
Yeah. No, it's a great focus.
So it's a great focus of attention.
Yeah. One of the many great videos on the Mind Caddie app is involved in this kind of thinking part, was the thinker and the prover.
Yeah.
I thought that was as I've said before, I think I've got a fairly good, above average understanding of psychology, but when I listened to that video, and it's true, isn't it? If we're any kind of negative thoughts in our belief system, another part of our brain tries to prove that that's the case.
Yeah.
So it's important, if you can just concentrate on joining these two dots up, it's keeping those thoughts away.
You're interested in something useful.
Yes.
As opposed to being distracted by something that's useless.
Yes.
You know, if the thinker thinks I'm useless at putting, you know, well, the prover's aiming to prove that. So every time you three putt, it proves the thought.
Yeah.
However, you can use this in putting as well. If in putting you had a dot on your putter face and a dot on the ball, and you think, can I join those two dots?
Yeah.
Now I'm interested in that. I'm absorbed in that.
Yeah.
And it's bringing me back to the task, not the perception of the task.
Right. So the term free mind is quite misleading in many ways.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna be there with nothing going on. There's always going to be something going on, so you've got to try and control
There's one time where you'll have no thoughts going through your head, and it's not a good one. So, you know, if you've got no thoughts going through your head,
that's
you
true.
know, 999 is the thing. But no, you know, we're never going to stop the brain. The brain produces thoughts through the mind like the heart pumps blood.
Yes.
That's what it's there to do.
Yeah.
And it's constantly doing it based on this idea of trying to protect you.
Yeah.
When you start to recognize that, big influence on me was a guy called Fred Shoemaker. And one of the things that he said had a huge impact on me. He said to understand that the difference between knowing that we have our mind, but we're not our mind.
Yes.
A mind is something that does things like produce thoughts.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we have to buy into it and believe it all.
Yeah.
We can sort of choose, okay, I've got this chaos going on, but do you know what? Let's see if I can join these dots.
Yeah.
And just on this one, for most golfers listening to this channel, I promise you, if you did nothing else this year, as stupid and simple as this sounds, if you did nothing else this year other than start smashing the ball out the middle of the club more often, you would be alarmed at how good you'd play golf.
Yeah, you're right.
Because the interesting thing is, when you start hitting out of the centre of the face more often, you tend to drag the face alignment with it.
Yes.
You know, generally you'll start joining the dots with a relatively square face.
Yeah.
You'll also probably get your low point a little bit better.
Yeah.
Well, if you hit it out the middle of the club with a reasonably square face and your low point's functional, you're going to be pretty good at the game.
There's no doubt the days that I play my best golf is that it's not my body that is feeling where my club face is within my golf swing. It's in my mind.
It's your awareness.
It's awareness of
Absolutely.
like, and then you have those days where you just feel like you can make that incremental little change, just hit a little fade or a little draw. But of course, there's other days where it doesn't feel like you know where it is whatsoever. But that's golf. It's never going to be perfect.
It's never going to be perfect. But you know, for a game that the only time that the ball gets supplied with information is when the impact interval happens. I would say most other sports, a tennis player would be pretty in tune with the racket.
Yes.
Snooker players in tune with the cue.
Yeah.
Most golfers have no attunement to the golf club because our attention's being put everywhere else.
Yeah. So that's a great tip. Put a Sharpie dot on your golf club. Make sure, as Carl says, right in the centre of your club, kind of from the third groove upwards. Then put some dots on your golf balls and just concentrate on that. Just concentrate on joining those two dots up, and then you'll start to get a lot simpler thought and one main thought in your mind that's going to occupy your mind. You're never going to have a completely free mind, so don't try and take that as the what it's suggesting. There's got to be something in your mind, but you've got to try and control what that is. Hope you enjoyed that episode of the Golf Psychology Sessions. If you want to get continued advice from Carl, you can subscribe to the Mind Caddie app. Go into the description of this video for a special offer as a viewer or subscriber of the Scratch at 50 Psychology channel.